You ever get that mix of excitement and dread at the same time? Because that's where I'm at. As a Canucks fan, when you start hearing certain kinds of rumors, you know something big might be brewing. And not just depth moves, not just tweaking the bottom six. I'm talking about something that could actually shift the direction of this team. We all knew this stretch was going to be emotional. The Olympics break gives management time to think. And when management starts thinking during a season like this, that's when things get real. There's chatter out there, serious chatter, about a move that could impact not just this year, but the next 5-6 seasons. And if it happens, it's going to hit this fan base right in the gut. I'm not saying it's done, I'm not even saying it's guaranteed. But the smoke is getting thicker, and when insiders start connecting dots, you have to pay attention. Before we dive into what's actually being discussed, do me a quick favor. If you're a real Canucks fan who rides every win and every painful loss with this team, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. We're brand new here at Canucks Nation Report, and we're pushing for our first 100 subscribers. If you care about where this team is headed, you're in the right place. All right, let's talk about what's really going on. This isn't just noise. This isn't some random fan proposal floating around Reddit. According to Thomas Drance from The Athletic, the Vancouver Canucks are seriously considering moving Brock Boeser, and not slowly, not casually, with urgency. Drance mentioned that among the veteran group, both Connor Garland and Brock Boeser are the most realistic candidates to be moved before the deadline. And when you hear that, that's when it hits, because this signals something bigger. While the Toronto Maple Leafs are on pause because of the 2026 Olympics break, Brad Treliving and that front office aren't sitting around. There's talk of a retool in Toronto, not a full rebuild because they don't want to risk missing the playoffs and losing revenue, but something that keeps them competitive now while adjusting long-term. They've already been linked to Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou from the St. Louis Blues. Names like Nick Schmaltz and Jared McCann have also been floating around as offensive help options. But then Boeser's name enters the chat. And suddenly it makes sense. Let's be honest about Brock. He's not just a scorer. He's a perennial 20-goal guy. He's hit 40 before. He's a legitimate top-line winger when he's on. He can make plays, he throws hits, he blocks shots, he doesn't take a ton of penalties, and he can play both special teams units. First line, second line, he fits either. And here's the part Leafs fans are probably drooling over: potential chemistry with Austin Matthews. They're both American. They've known each other for years. Matthews has publicly praised Boeser's shot before. You put a pure finisher like that next to Matthews? That's dangerous. Now let's talk money. Boeser makes $7.25 million per year through 2032. That's 6 more years. In today's cap world, that's not cheap. But with the cap rising, that contract ages pretty well, especially compared to some of the massive deals Toronto already carries. And here's where it gets interesting. There are reports that Toronto could open up cap space if a Morgan Rielly deal happens. So, financially, it's not impossible. Now, the hypothetical trade proposal being discussed looks like this. To Toronto, Brock Boeser. To Vancouver, Max Domi, Kalle Järnkrok, Steven Lawrence, a 2027 third-round pick. That's a lot of bodies going back to Vancouver. Let's break it down from our side. Max Domi gives the Canucks a top-6 veteran who can inject energy and maybe help Elias Pettersson get rolling offensively again. Domi plays with edge. He brings emotion. He's not perfect defensively, but he competes. Kalle Järnkrok? Solid, versatile bottom-6 guy. Not a heavy cap commitment. Reliable. can move up the lineup in a pinch. Steven Lorentz, physical, responsible, can play center at an above-average level. Hits, defends, does the dirty work. And here's the cap math that actually makes this realistic. Domi, Jarnkrok, and Lawrence together total about $7.2 million. That's basically identical to Boeser's $7.25 million hit. The money works almost perfectly. Now, from a production standpoint, Boeser has 459 points in 604 career games, 216 goals, 243 assists, 354 hits, 221 block shots, only 148 penalty minutes. The -63 rating? That's not all on him. That's been a reflection of where this team has been the last few seasons. So here's the emotional part. If this is truly a full rebuild in Vancouver, moving Boeser makes sense from an asset management perspective. He's locked up long-term. He has value. You can get multiple pieces. You reset the timeline. But as a fan, it's tough. Boeser's been through the ups and downs here. He's battled injuries. He's dealt with personal tragedy. He's worn the jersey with pride. You don't just shrug when a player like that gets moved. At the same time, if management believes this roster isn't close enough, and they want more flexibility and depth while continuing a reset, this is the type of move that signals commitment to a new direction. And for Toronto, this is exactly how they avoid a long rebuild while still retooling. They get a legitimate top-line winger who's under contract for 6 more years. They stay competitive. They protect their playoff revenue. They give Matthews another weapon. For us, it's about what the long-term vision really is. Are we building around Pettersson and younger pieces? Are we fully committing to a reset? Or are we just shuffling deck chairs? Because moving Boeser would be a statement, a loud one. At the end of the day, this isn't just about numbers. It's about identity. It's about where this franchise thinks its window is, and whether they believe this core can truly contend, or if it's time to reshape it completely. As a fan, I'm torn. I see the logic. I see the cap flexibility. I see the depth coming back. But losing a player like Boeser? That's emotional. This next stretch is going to tell us everything about management's vision. If you're feeling the same mix of anxiety and curiosity I am, drop a comment. Would you move Boeser in this deal? Or is that a line you don't cross? Hit like if you care about the future of this team. And if you want real fan conversations like this every week, subscribe to Canucks Nation Report. We're just getting started and pushing toward our first 100 subscribers. If you bleed blue and green like I do, you're part of this. Let's see where this goes.